All right, how's it going, guys? Welcome back. So we did a video. Oh, geez, look at that, James. Oh my goodness, James, you're a beautiful young fella. 1.5 mil though. That's something to talk about. That's what we're talking about in general here today. Is these fantasy cards. But about a month ago, we talked about the fantasy cards. Time to sell them, time to buy them. We said, you know what? You can stick with the forward still a little bit longer, but the defenseman you had to start considering is about selling time. And, we've seen guys like Seth Jones, they really haven't changed the price. Still about 300K, where it's about the time you say, well, there's about the plateau when you consider the rest of the overalls. It's about time we start talking about that same situation now for the forward fantasy cards, because it is mid-January now, and we'll give you a quick timeline before we go over these cards. You consider it's mid-January, assuming we had team of the years, but we'll have team of the season. Team of the year is important for these fantasy card values, by the way. We should see team of the season in April, maybe. They might still do it in March. If they still do it in March, again, we're talking a month and a half until then. And then when those come out, these cards become virtually worthless, to be completely quite frank, because everybody wants to get the new fantasy cards and higher overalls. And that's what's important about you got to keep in mind with these fantasy cards, is we are now seeing players, a lot of players, get the 95, 94 overalls. And the more options you get at the 94, 95 overalls, the less enticing that fantasy cards are, because that means, there's more options. Like, people would have bought, to say, the not John Ferris, who's like a 75, but people might have bought the James Neals of the world. He's a terrible example because it'd be a 99, but doesn't exactly, like the Ryan Johansson. I like Ryan Johansson, big fan of him, got his fantasy card still. Disclaimer there, I like him, but I think 91's a great overall. I think he can probably hit the 99, but if he hits the 99, he needs 8 goals, and just Ryan Johansson on pace. 8 goals happens end of March, right? End of March, you're talking 99, and that's when you're talking team of the year. And when you start to see team of the years come out, if you remember last year, team of the years, they start to go anywhere from, the McDavid's would go for over $1 million, Ovechkin, but a lot of the other guys, 98, 99, you'd see 600-700K. If you remember when the Stanley Cup event started, I remember for the Blue Jackets specifically, Cam Atkinson got a 99, and was it Boone Jenner? And I think when it was 99s at the end of the first round, one was like 500K and one was like 400K. One was I think it was 600 and 400. I want to say 600 for Atkinson because he was right-handed. He's a little bit smaller. Some people like that kind of guy. So you got to keep that in mind. Like, you're talking about paying $750K for a guy like Johansson right now. There's not a lot more upside to him, I don't think. I feel like it's possible. Again, maybe 2 more weeks. He goes hot. He scores goals in 2 weeks. That's the thing you can't predict about these guys. Drops a hat trick. Maybe he goes up another 100K. But for the most part, you have to remember he's kind of, if you make a little bell curve, he's at the top now. You're going to start to see that slow decline. Now, the sky's not going to fall today, but I do think it's going to start to, where he starts scoring goals, you're not going to see those upgrades. That's the key with the fantasy cards, when it's time to get out. When you see a guy score a goal and his price doesn't go up, you see him score a goal or two and it stays flat, that's when well, he's about priced in to where people think he's worth, and it's about time he starts going down. Johansson's a perfect example of that, I think there. Josh Bailey, again, he could, I don't know, I never had faith in him getting a 99 in the first place, so I should be careful what I say here, but I mean, again, no, he's an expensive player. 700K, that's probably not his only price, but if it was, I mean, again, 700K, it's pricey, knowing that he won't go up too much, because again, he's not an appealing player. The thing is, I think that's really important to remember now, is we have team of the years out. Team of the years out where they're actually players that everybody wants. Everybody wants Kucherov. Everybody wants McDavid. Everybody wants Ovechkin. Like, who are you more likely to pay for right now? Josh Bailey for, not a good example because he's 700K, but what, John Tavares, no. Who was it? James Neal, 1.5 million. Who are you more likely to pay 1.5 million for? What if James Neal goes for 1.3 million? A guaranteed 99 James Neal, or a guaranteed 99 Connor McDavid or Ovechkin? So the more and more players you see get these higher overalls, the more it starts to hurt these fantasy cards. Just like the Blake Wheel. Like, it was cool if you had a 91 2 months ago, but now literally everybody has a 91 or a 93 or a 94. So there's better options out there. I still like Blake Wheeler. I still think, but we brought it up when I first bought him and said I think he's a million coin player. He got to about that. He got to about 900K, 950, a million. We traded ours away for about $1 million. And that's it. I tapped out on Blake Wheeler. I said $1 million, sticking to the guns there on $1 million. He ain't going up much higher than that. And I think that's the story for a lot of these guys. Again, Lucic's of the world. I mean, what's he going to do? He's at 83. The guy scores about as many goals as Pecorino does in a season. Even if he does get a goal, 83K might be a big blow there. He could score 6 goals and he'd still be not worth, hardly worth 83K with how many by the time he gets to an 89. So I'm not a big fan of a lot of the fantasy cards now. I still, if there is anybody you want to hold on to, and again, I hold on to the Ryan Johansson just because I'm a fan of Ryan Johansson. I think a 99 overall. Do I think he goes down to, I don't know, 400 or 500K? Probably. I don't think he goes up much more. Again, maybe 50K, maybe 60K, but the chance of that that compared to him going down a couple 100K, I think it's just not worth it as far as saying, oh, let's invest and hold on to it for a month. If you want to do any investing, again, we've talked about it. You don't have to hold on to fantasy cards. There are gold collectibles that always, again, it was what, 45, 50K yesterday. They was going for 65K last night because of how many things require gold collectibles. It'll always be that way. So if there's anything you want to look into investing in, you know, for a long term, you want to sell your fantasy cards, maybe buy 10, 15 gold collectibles when they're 45, 50K, and then wait for EA to drop like a team of the year event or something, and then you sell them for 65. I mean, at the end of the day, that is 45K to 65K, 20K profit. That is essentially like, just throwing it out there, essentially like paying 450K for Johansson and selling them for 650K, right? You're just paying for more collectibles. Just keep that in mind there. It's just as lucrative as far as profits are concerned. But that's me. I'm done. Look at poor Taylor Hall, 81 overall. That's me though. I'm done with fantasy cards. Like I said, it's not time to panic sell, but when you get into February, that is when you will start to see that panic sell. That will cause them to go down because, you know, people start thinking about team of the years, team of the seasons. They want to have coins for that stuff. They want to sell these players against new shiny ones, and you see a market crash. So keep that in mind. I think we're reaching a peak and a start to go downhill with the majority of these fantasy cards. If you do have questions about any players, maybe you have, we can go over, talk about, feel free to comment them down below. We'll discuss them. Otherwise, if you guys enjoyed this video, big thumbs up, subscribe, appreciate it, never required. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.